Hi, I'm Linda with 37West. I'm here to tell you and teach you how to order a custom woven label. There are other options besides custom woven, since the quantity generally starts at 250, and that's a pretty low minimum for a custom woven label. Here we're going to focus on custom woven labels. We'll have the other kinds that are available in lower quantities and prices at a different time. Okay, to order a custom woven label, we need some information, and without that information, we can't do it according to your specifications. So we need you to tell us what it is that you need, and sometimes that feels a bit daunting, especially when it's your first time ordering labels. Obviously, a seasoned producer of merchandise knows exactly what they need. This video would not be necessary for them. We're going to start with your label name. That is the name on your label, the name on your business. It's not really your business name, it's the name on your label. So here is Bree, and I'll just quickly go a couple of them. This is actually a signature label, and I just love those. This is one with an adorable little graphic or icon on it, and it's just got, you know, the URL. Here is, and these are damask. This is a taffeta label. The thing that we're after right now also is that it's a centerfold top sew. As you can see, it's longer, and you fold it in half and it becomes shorter, and then you have a sew allowance up here, and this piece goes up into whatever you're putting it in, and the care content flips and it's easy to read. So that's a centerfold top sew. This is a satin label. There's no folds, it's a flat fuse cut label. This person opted to get some sizes put on theirs. I suggest, unless you're ordering a whole bunch of them, that you go ahead and use separate size tabs in a lot of situations. Just depends on how many labels you're going to get. The satin label has a nice sheen to it. It's very soft. It's very much for lingerie, for bridal, for evening wear, for high-end couture, etc., etc. For couture, often the damask is the choice because of the level of detail and the pop and the tightness of the weave. It's just beautiful and very durable too. So here you have damask, and then you have taffeta, and you have satin. So the damask and the taffeta are generally about matte. The damask has a much higher thread count, a much nicer, thinner quality of yarn to make a much tighter weave with more yarn, so you get more detail and more impact for your graphic. Taffeta is a very cost-effective one. It's generally saved for much higher quantities. The prices in the lower quantities are not significantly different from the higher quantities. The satin is shiny, like I said, and it goes for evening wear and high-end and couture, etc., etc. So as you can see, part of what we're doing here is we have a centerfold top sew. We have another centerfold top sew, and the sew allowance is what you determine is best for your project. Here we have a satin label with end folds on it, which is just a nice finish, and that's often the preferable. Here is a centerfold right sew. It's like a tab, and it's on both sides, so it's kind of a centerfold left sew and right sew. It's a beautiful, beautiful label, and it's a great identity piece these days to have an outside tab. Here's also end folds, and here's the U.S. flag. Anything that you're making in the USA can have a flag on it to tout the fact that you are producing in the United States. Here's another end fold label, another end fold label, and another centerfold top sew label. The things that are important here is the size of your label. As you'll notice, we have lots of sizes. This is a more petite one. This could go in scarves, smaller things, hats. It could also go in pants and shirts, but you probably wouldn't want to put this in a scarf, most likely. So the size and shape of your label is very important, and that is the decision that you need to make. What I suggest is that you take your logo and you print it out on a piece of paper in different sizes, and you cut it out and you put it on the garment that you're thinking about getting your labels for, and that gives you a real good visual of the right size. Had an incident where someone was getting labels for children's wear, and the label was just too big, and it wasn't noticed before the labels came in. So we did that again. So it's good to really look at the size of your label. The sew allowance is really important, but the person you talk to about that is who's going to do your sewing. Some people are very precise sewers, and some people want a whole lot of allowance to work with. Generally, 1/8 of an inch is as small as you go on a sew allowance. For couture, I've made it a 1/16 of an inch before. Highly unusual, one time. 1/4 of an inch, I would say, would be an average. 3/8 of an inch also might be an average. 1/2 an inch for something that's bigger, more durable, with a deeper seam. Let's see, where are you going to sew it? You're going to sew it on the ends. You're going to sew it on the top. Are you going to sew it on the left or the right? So those are all 4 sides. You can sew an in-folded label on all 4 sides, or you can sew a flat fuse cut label on all 4 sides. Those are your options. Background colors, I think, pretty self-explanatory. This is black, this is white, this is white, this is kind of a green, and so with a damask, you get to pick your Pantone colors. This is an unusual satin label. We don't normally do labels in satin other than white, gray, and black. Sometimes you can put a tint in it, but you can't achieve a Pantone color with the background of a satin label unless you do a reverse satin. And that can be done too if that's what you want. Your lettering color, same thing, got to pick your colors. Obviously this is multicolor, which is a lot of fun. Sometimes you want to do an extra white background, sometimes you want to do just a regular white background. With a regular white background you get slight patina to the background. So it makes it interesting. Sometimes a white label with black lettering will have kind of a silver sheen to it, and that's beautiful. The thing here is to pick out a label that is going to represent your branding, your style, the look that you want. It's all in the sizzle, not the steak, right? So one of the things that they remember is your logo or your lettering or whatever you put on there. I call it, this is your business card everywhere your product goes. If someone sees that shirt or that baby thing or what have you and they just love it, they're going to look at your label, and that's the best way back to you to get more business. Thanks very much.